Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie comic interview. It is your Capes Crusader, Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with our brand new friend, Krista Crawford. We're here to break down Wolf and I, her brand new Kickstarter for Waves of Dissonance. Did I pronounce that right?
Dissonance, yeah.
Dissonance, and everything in between. So welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Let's start breaking down exactly who you are and how you came into the indie comic scene.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you so much. My name is Krista Crawford, and I go by Fleur de Villainy on social media. By trade, I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner, but by passion, I'm an artist. So I have always drawn since I was a little kid, and I've written stories since I was little. I've started bringing the story Wolf and I together about 15 years ago as a prose, like to be an actual novel. But I just never got it to come together how I wanted. I was constantly changing things and looking into things. And about 2.5-3 years ago, I was at Comic-Cons. I was making fan art, and I was like, what if I put out Wolf and I chapter by chapter as a comic, because I'm already drawing the art and I already have the story. And so that's kind of where Wolf and I transitioned from being prose into a comic. I've been in the comic industry because I've been doing, indie art, and I've been doing variant covers for other indie comics on the side at like Comic-Cons. And so it just combined two of my passions together into one big project.
Yeah, that is really cool. It's really awesome to hear how long you've been at it for. How was that transition working from doing a novel to a comic? Was it like a rough transition for you, or was it something that was easy?
Oh, it was a rough transition. I, in my head, was like, oh, this will be great. This will be super, super easy. I have the story written. I'll just make the art for it, and it'll be a comic. And it wasn't. It was a huge learning curve because there's such a big difference between prose writing and comic and like script writing. You've got a lot more room for descriptive scenes and descriptive like body language and different things when you're writing prose, where when you're doing comic books, you can't spend 10 pages and 100, 5 panels per page in one little scene. Otherwise, your story is not going to get anywhere. And so, issue 1 was a little bit rough, and looking back, it is something. Before we do a trade paperback, we're going to have a revitalization with everything we've learned on issue 1. But we just kept going at it, and we kept receiving feedback and taking that feedback and growing with it.
So how many issues have you done so far of Wolf and I?
So I have 3 published issues that have successfully launched on Kickstarter, and Wolf and I Waves of Dissonance will be issue number 4. The goal is to have about 20 issues, and we'll see where the adventure goes from there, because I have a lot of like mini side stories and short stories and stuff from side characters that have come in. So
you're the artist as well as the writer on this, correct?
I am. I'm like a one-woman show here. With issue 1, I did everything. The writing, the drawing, the coloring, the publishing. Issue 2, 3, and 4, I've brought in a artist to do the flat work as a way to support another artist. And then that is like my least favorite part of comic creation is flatting art. And so it worked, 2 birds with one stone for sure.
So how was it transitioning once again from the novel to the comic in the sense of being the artist as well? Was that something where this was your first introduction to creating art in a comic sense, or did you have experience previously?
I had experience with like cover art, like doing very like action scenes, but this was my first time really doing a lot of like set scenes and going from like instead of just like your cover picture, your pinup picture for the front of variant covers, it was like the challenge of how do I say this in 2 panels, what I wrote in 2 pages with only having like 2 word bubbles, and everything else has got to be portrayed in like, the body poses that they're in, or like the movement that the character is making. So that was really challenging, and it really kind of set me back to the chopping block of watching tutorials, looking up watching videos for hours, asking friends like, hey, read this page, this is my stick figure, like this is what I'm thinking, like does that make sense, does it need to be more, does it need to be less? And so a lot of it was just like reaching out to my close-knit, you know, indie comic community and being like, you know, I want to grow and I want Wolf and I to continue to grow and get better too. And so translating that, and like, it was definitely, and even to this day, I think that's my hardest point, is like I see it in my head, but like translating it into different panels on a page, but keeping it within like a 24-page comic has been the most challenging, because I want to, you know, have these big panels and these big backgrounds, and you know, I love descriptive writing. I mean, in the book itself, it's, you know, describes the forest and every little leaf that's in there and every little creature.
We have
so that's been.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. We have a KNS over on YouTube stopping by to say hello. Welcome to the stream, Kane. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them. We're going to be breaking into the campaign here in just a little bit, but I like to paint a picture of what to expect. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down Wolf and I. What can we expect from the story? And if you want to kind of give us a little bit of a breakdown, like what happened within like issues 1, 2, and 3 without maybe spoiling too much.
Of course. So Wolf and I is a fantasy adventure comic book. It is rated PG-13 and up, so definitely not an all ages comic, because there is some violence and innuendos. But it follows the lives of two main heroines, Sophia and Violet, who grew up they're entering their college years, but they grew up being told fairy tales and living their normal lives, when suddenly dark creatures start coming out of the woodworks. Strange magical powers start manifesting as they're protecting themselves from these attacks. And they join up with a friend that they don't realize is a meow shapeshifter, which is a half owl, half cat. And she transports them to the land of Krayweth, where they're forced to face this destiny to help save the land from the wolf shapeshifters from taking over. But Violet finds out that she's actually half wolf shapeshifter, half fae. And so she's kind of faced with this moral dilemma of, who am I? What's the right path? Who's the right good guy? Who's the right bad guy? Is there even a true bad guy, like where each side's coming from? And so issue 4 just really delves deep into their friendship and finding out who they are and what they want to do with their lives.
Yeah, that sounds like some really interesting concepts. What was your inspirations for combining some of those creatures? You said there was the owl and the cat.
Meowl.
Yeah. That's a really interesting concept. So what was your inspiration for that?
So I will have to say a lot of there's a lot of like well-known fantasy creatures in Wolf and I. We've got mermaids, we have spirit mages, we have shapeshifters, and then we have some other like cross animals. I worked in pediatric ICU for many, many years, night shifts in the hospital. And so I spent a lot of those nights, you know, with kids whose parents couldn't be there all night or couldn't be there all day. And, you know, telling them stories and making things up to kind of help them get through the nights, because it's not all laughs and giggles, especially in the ICU. And so sometimes these creatures just like came to life as I'm telling these stories to kids and different things. And so the meow was definitely one of those that kind of like, you know, it's one of those things that people love owls and a lot of people like cats. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and so the combination of them was, you know, appealing to a lot of these children. And so when these characters are living in my head and Wolf and I was coming together, I was like, that's just so relatable. But, you know, the character that's the meow, who's a shapeshifter, comes from a line of sight of like people who could tell the future, basically. And so that's such like a mythical feeling, you know, wise owls and, you know, the wily cats like kind of coming together.
And that is really that's really awesome of you to help the children like that too late at night, tell them stories. Did any of this bleed into Wolf and I? Did like any of the tales that maybe you used to tell children maybe serve some sort of purpose in what you're working on now?
I wouldn't say like directly, but because I try to keep things a lot more like positive and less like the wolves are coming out to get you kind of stories in the hospital. But definitely, you know, the main foundation of, you know, rely on your friends and be the best person you can be, and you're more than just what you think you were, and you're more than just what you grew up being told you could be. There's always potential for you to grow. There's always potential for you to do something else. You just have to set your mind to it and know, you know, surround yourself with good people. Mm-hmm. And I think that like root foundation is really what drove Wolf and I. Yeah,
that is so cool. I really give you big props for that, because I'm sure it helped many of those children's lives be, just that much better, especially in ICU. So with kind of the visual painted for Wolf and I, let's go ahead and start breaking down the Kickstarter. I'm going to go ahead and get it added to the screen. Wolf and I, Waves of Dissonance. This issue takes a mermazing turn in a teen-rated fantasy and adventure comic book. We're currently sitting at $1,899 of $2,000 goal, 58 backers with 25 days to go. This is some pretty awesome numbers. Congratulations once again. I know we're going over this, so sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
So
it's really exciting to be here. It's really great. Like the fact that we're only $101 away, which is why the running joke is I'm a Disney Dalmatian movie away from funding. It just feels amazing. I have been very grateful that all 3 of my previous Kickstarters have funded. And every time it's grown a little bit bigger, my goal is to just get 10% more than my previous issue. If we don't get there, that's okay. As long as we fund, it continues the journey of Wolf and I, it helps bring it to life. But the bigger we can grow, the more audience we can reach, the cooler variant cover artists that we can have on as guests. And then the cool swag. I'm a big swag person. Yeah. I have bookshelves full of knickknacks and book things that I've collected. And so that's probably one of my favorite things about running Kickstarters.
So you also got Project We Love. Congratulations on that. When did you get that? And what are some of your thoughts that led to that? I mean, so
this is the very first time we've ever gotten Project We've Loved.
That's awesome.
All 4 issues, which blows my mind. I was over the moon when the email came in. It was just a couple of days ago. In fact, it was while I was on a live stream, I got this email that popped up and I was like, oh, I ignored that notification. I was like, wait, what did that say? I'm really excited. I put a lot of effort into issue 4 to really fine-tune things that we've learned from 1, 2, and 3 on the Kickstarters. I've brought in some really unique artists. I have a lot more interior work to show on the Kickstarter, and so it was really neat to see that they're showcasing it as a project we love, because it means Wolf and I's on the up and up.
Yeah, congratulations on that once again. So let's go ahead, start scrolling down and take a look at this Kickstarter. So we start off with the story. Welcome to a land slowly being overtaken by darkness. Tread carefully, take heed, and beware for creatures crawl throughout the night. Secrets of this land's history shall come to light. Choices are made, worlds are shown. 2 heroines are faced with a choice to band with friends and unite with their specific gifts. I can never pronounce that word. That's like the bane of my existence. Against the darkness, or let the residing evil prevail. The faith of Croft lays in their hands. So what an awesome beginning. Congratulations on all this success. So you want to start breaking down some of this Kickstarter for us. What is Wolf and I?
Yeah, so we described Wolf and I a little bit before. It's a fantasy adventure novel that follows the story of 2 heroines. So the beginning here just kind of shows some interiors from previous issues. I like to do really detailed, full color, it's a book about magic, and I want that magic to really stand out. So we have a lot of dark to light scenes. We have a lot of shifts in colors to really bring out the emotions between the characters, especially as we go into some of the fight scenes and things.
So what was some of the things that you studied to learn how to do these different panelings? I mean, I know you said you kind of came into this and you had to do a lot of study and a lot of YouTube, and what was some of the different things that you learned about to kind of really take this paneling by storm? Because I really am loving a lot of this, especially this bigger page right here where you see the character falling and the different colors. It's just all very gorgeous.
It was a lot, because I didn't want your traditional just here's a box, here's a box, here's a box, here's a box. So it was a lot of looking at references, reading other indie comics, reading other fantasy comics, knowing the look that I wanted to portray all the things that were happening in the comic without making it blocky. I wanted things to pop out. I wanted things to foreshadow for later on in the story. And so a lot of it was just over and over and over, just looking at pictures, drawing, sketching out scenes, scrapping scenes over and over. And so finally, getting to where you want it to be and that ultimately like pieced it together. And sometimes, you know, I'd get to the end and then I'd scrap a page and fit in 2 other pages because it didn't quite flow the way that I wanted to. But now that I'm on issue 4, things have definitely gotten a lot smoother. I don't think I can hear you.
And I'm muted. The classic old Twitch streaming mishap.
Classic Twitch mishap.
For anyone listening, I did have to, unfortunately, whatever reason, the SM7B did not want to work. Of course, the microphone that is worth 5 times as much as the Yeti. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I've used this microphone for 5 years, but I forgot how to use it. So we have Patrick Seeley over on YouTube saying, hey, yo, pop share in the stream. Really appreciate that love and the support, man. Thank you so much. I hope everything's going good for you. So real quick, I wanted to break down some of these different pages that we have here. So with the first page, what are we seeing happening in this sequence?
So that first page is one of the fight scenes where the mermaids kind of congregate to help save the day and chase the wolves off. The second scene is a scene from issue 2 where you're first introduced to the Meowl, where she comes to drop a warning to Violet that she's in danger. The third panel there is also another fight scene where the wolf comes and she's trying to kidnap Violet to bring her over onto her side. This is before she finds out that she's half wolf. The fourth panel is where the Meowl is taking them, and that kind of leads, fourth and fifth kind of lead together, where they're being transported to the land of Creueth, and they're kind of making the decision of, whoa, there's this magical portal. Where'd this creature go? Do we jump? Do we not jump? There's a wolf chasing us. Like, what do we do?
And this is really beautiful too. Not to interrupt, but I really love the lighting, and the way you like color this environment. Like this just looks so gorgeous, and it's really remarkable too, because like you said, you came into this, and a lot of this was like studying off YouTube and stuff. So I think that's really awesome. We have Blinks over on Twitch throwing some hearts in chat. How you doing, Blinks? Welcome to the stream. If anyone has any questions at all for Krista, feel free to drop them. Once again, let's go ahead and dive back in with this last page. This is the one that's really gorgeous too. I really like this.
So this is an excerpt from issue 1. Now, as you notice, there's a lot more text in this one. So this was one of the things that, you know, as I've grown through issues 2, 3, and 4, I've used a lot less descriptive paragraphs and more like art to show kind of what's going on. But in a previous scene, she had been dreaming. She's been chasing by the wolf. She trips and falls, and then she wakes up in her bed in the real world.
I really like this. The way you did it is awesome.
Thank you.
So a Fae, a medium, and a Meow falls down a rabbit hole. So this gives us just a little bit of a breakdown in what to expect with issue 4, correct?
Yes, yeah, basically what we've reviewed already.
And then issue 4 takes our heroes through the forest lands of Creueth on a quest to the capital. This is where they will have to fight their way to freedom, dually strengthening their bonds of friendship. So right here is a look of some of the line art and the coloring. I really like this too. I don't see this in a lot of different campaigns where they show you kind of a little bit of a glimpse of the line work and then how it looks with the coloring as well.
I wanted to really portray like just how much vibrancy and colors, you know, that goes into Wolf and I. Sometimes, you know, in my studies of a lot of, you know, comics, whether they're indie or, you know, mainstream, a lot of the covers are beautiful, just drop dead beautiful. And then you open up on the inside and it's just really flat. There's not a lot of transitions. There's not a lot of, shadows and highlights and details. It's just very like blocky and like generic. And so, you know, I wanted Wolf and I to be as beautiful on the inside as it is on the outside.
We have Blinks over on Twitch. Curious, since I just joined in, where did she draw her inspiration for this from? Mermaids? That's a pretty cool concept for a comic.
Yeah, so I am a huge fantasy reader. I love fantasy books. I read a lot of, you know, Tolkien and Harry Potter, and you know, if it's in the YA fantasy section, if I haven't read it, it's on my to-read list. I try to read like 30 to 70 books a year, and so a lot of it comes from the roots of just loving, fairies and fantasy and mermaids and pirates and wolves and shapeshifters and, all of the stuff that, I grew up on. And so it's really empowered me to take what I love and put it into a comic form.
So did you have to do like any sort of like deep like studying or like, like deep dives into like kind of like learning more about these creatures? And to kind of add on to that, is there anything that you see done like with mermaids or like wolves that are like that's done incorrectly that you wanted to make sure you did correctly in this comic?
I did a lot of research for like animal posing for the wolves and the cat and the owl and the other creatures in the book, because I really wanted to like personify them, but also like go back to their animal roots of like how they would sit and how they would move, and how they would interact. And so a lot of it had to do, like, I read a lot into like pack mentality with wolves, like how would when wolves fight or they go to like get on a creature, like how do they pack up to like attack them? Do they like spread out? Do they surround them? That way, like, my battle scenes really flowed together.
Okay, yeah, no, that is so awesome. It's always interesting to kind of hear how like deep things go, and especially like the creative process. I always love learning about like just like what goes into that. So right here is the variant cover options. For this book, Wolf and I, issue 4, we have the pleasure of working with many amazing industry renowned artists, including, do you want to give a list of these names?
Yeah, you can. Do you want me to give them for you?
Yeah, if you want to.
So this time we had the pleasure of having a lot of people come on. The well-known in the industries would be Ryan Kincaid, Trevor Grace, Greg Bowe, and Keith Garvey. And Steph Wilson with Carrie Ann. They did the colors together. And then JT Moley is coming in the indie comic community. And then Cami Kimmy, the last one on the list there, was actually an artist that a friend and I found on Instagram, just a little small Instagram artist. But we reached out to her and was like, hey, we love your art. Would you be interested in doing like a commercial comic cover? And she hadn't done it before, but she said she was on board. And I would want her on every single cover.
So right here is the cover done by yourself.
Yes.
So this is awesome. What are we seeing right here?
Yeah, so this is Violet, and then one of the main wolves that has appeared in all 4 issues so far.
So is the one with like the claw on the nose, is that like more of an antagonist?
Yeah, so that was all the wolves are kind of bad guys in my story, although there is like a lot of back and forth, who belongs where, who's really like for which side. So that's more of, not when I spoil too much.
No, I gotcha. I really love the crescent moon design too, like right here on the edge of it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's our logo for Wolf and I, so you'll see it a lot of different places.
So right here is the one that was done by Ryan. This is another beautiful variant as well.
Thank you. And all the covers are available on like standard paper stock, but they're also going to be available on metallic holofoil paper, kind of like your old school collectible Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Which I saw that. That was really cool. It was only $10 more, which I thought was a pretty good price too. So right here is the one.
Trying to keep it reasonable, but keep it cool.
So this is the one by Greg Bowe and Gwen.
Yes.
So who is this character that we're seeing right here?
So she is one of the mermaids. I have about 10 mermaids that are in the book itself. And so I kind of gave them free range. Like, here's all the characters. Here's all the mermaids. Like, draw who you want to draw, because I want to see my characters through your artwork. I
love the little starfish with like the dead face too. That's so awesome.
It's a running joke here in Arizona. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know.
So we have this variant cover by Keith Garvey as well. So who is this character? Pretty ominous with the wolves in the background too.
Yeah, so this is actually Anastasia, and she's the meow shapeshifter. So this is her human form, and then she shapeshifts into that white half cat, half owl that you've seen in some of the other interior scenes.
Really love the highlights too, like right here on the jumpsuit. You can kind of see the purple highlights. So JT Moley, did I say that correctly?
Yep, JT Moley.
So this is another interesting mermaid as well. Who's this character?
So it's one of the other
10?
10 mermaids that come to the rescue.
So, are they like very defined, or are they kind of just like the background characters?
One is pretty defined, the like main mermaids. Cecil, I'm tongue tied today. But the other ones are kind of just like background. Yeah, not really play like a big main role, but they're kind of like a group of mermaids that comes up and helps them on their journey.
And then Steph Wilson and Carrie Ann.
So they did an interesting thing. They took the two main characters and drew them as mermaids, which I thought was pretty comical.
Yeah. And who is this? Like, it looks like a little penguin.
They drew the meowl as a
meow.
maid.
Okay.
Yeah, they drew it as a meow maid.
Okay. And then Dutch Dutchin.
Yes. So Dutch does the flats for the interiors of the book, and this is the second cover he's done for Wolf and I. He actually has his own comic, The Wayfarer, which is also a teen fantasy comic, which is absolutely fabulous. And he just did such a unique piece here.
This is gorgeous. Who are we seeing right here? She's about to get attacked by two wolves.
Yeah, so this is Violet, and the mermaid is seeing the scene happening where the wolves are coming to attack to try and steal her. And so that's when the mermaids all come up to help join the battle to
that's cool.
Save them. Dutch has a little interior sneak peek to the book since he does the flats. He gets to see them before anybody else does. So his covers are always like a prelude to the story.
No, that's really cool, though. I really like that. That's really interesting. So, Kimmy? This is gorgeous too.
Yeah, so she did Sophia, the other main character in the comic, and so I'm hoping for next issue that she'll do one of Violet. So I have a Violet and Sophia.
Oh, that would be really cool, yeah. And then Trevor Grace. So this is a really powerful looking image. So we're gonna see the characters have magical powers as well.
They do. Yeah, so the main character is half wolf shapeshifter, half fae. So she has elemental fae powers. And then Sophia is a spirit mage from a long line of spirit mages. And so once she gets transported to the land of Croweth, her powers start manifesting because the magic isn't as alive in the real world as it is in Croweth. And so they're able to draw upon their powers once they go through the portal.
Was it hard writing the two different worlds? When you were coming up with like the storyboard and everything?
You know, it wasn't because I had this idea in my head that they're living in the real world where they have these backgrounds, but the magic, just isn't there like it is in a land that's saturated in magic. So it doesn't come out unless they have extreme motions of like fear, where their like natural instinct is to protect themselves. Where in the land of Croweth, magic is everywhere. And so they have to kind of learn to control their powers, not only to like be able to draw on them, but to draw on them and direct them. And so a lot of issue 3 and issue 4 is finding friends. There's a spirit mage that they team up with, and they journey to the main capital of Croweth to help find teachers to kind of teach them their powers and come into them.
No, that is really cool. I always love hearing the breakdowns of different worlds like that, especially when it's incorporated in a book. It's always interesting because like just how deep you dive and everything just really sets it apart, So this is what to expect. It's going to be a 20-page comic filled with detailed, high full color graphic art. This issue contains the same enthusiast magical touch found both in art and story as issues 1 through 3. The book is virtually finished and ready to send to the printer. As soon as the campaign is done, we plan on shipping in September 2022 to avoid books sitting in Arizona's 120 plus heat, which is insane. I've seen pictures of cars, like the back of them literally being melted.
Yes. I don't know about cars being melted. I've definitely cooked an egg on a cookie sheet on the road before. This is something that I found out new this year. We have chickens here, and if you don't pick the eggs up, they soft boil in the chicken coop. Wow. I went to go crack an egg the other day that I picked up, and I was like, oh, this is like pretty much cooked already. Wow. So yeah, the problem I had when I shipped issue 1 is that some people didn't pick up their mail the first day, and so the plastic that holds the bag and board together melted and glued itself to the comic. in like 10 of the like 30 that I shipped out, so I had to resend all of those. I never would have expected it. I mean, I knew it's hot, but I didn't think about like it melting that
So
hot.
you just pretty much ate that the 10 copies.
Mhm.
That was awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome of you, though. I think that shows a lot about you as a creator, willing to eat that cost, and
I
a
mean,
learning
I wanted,
experience though too. You know.
it is. Oh, for sure. And, one of those things you don't even think about. You're like, yeah, it's hot, but you don't think about it being melting hot in the mail because you're like, it's a comic, it's paper. The stickers are vinyl. They're meant to, like, I use UV resistant waterproof like stickers that are meant for outdoors. So I was like, oh, the stickers will be fine.
Not meant for
And
Arizona.
but the stickers are, but the plastic wrap that the comic goes in to keep it protected in the bag and board basically just melted.
Isn't it
right
crazy?
to it.
Like the stuff meant to protect the comic didn't, but the stickers survived just A-okay.
Oh yeah, the stickers were great.
So all tiers will come with the comics packaged, bag and board, shipped in a Gemini comic mailer. All packages. Is this because of your experience previously, like with or?
No, I did a lot of research because I had seen I had heard from a lot of friends before I even published my first comic that they'd ordered comics and they came in like a flimsy bubble wrap package, and the mail had folded it in half and shoved it in the mailbox, and or it came in a box, but it wasn't like secured in the box, so it kind of like shook around in the box, and so the corners were damaged or dinged or bent. And a lot of times people buying comics aren't just buying them to read them. Like, a lot of people buy them to get them graded too.
Yep.
To collect them. And if you have things like dings and bent corners, or if it's folded in half, the value of it dramatically decreases. So Gemini Mailer is actually like specifically made for shipping comics and trade paperbacks. So you put your comic preferably in a bag and board, which then supports it, and then it's like 4-way secured, so it's not sloshing around in the box, and it's got crush room at the top and the bottom, so even if the box got like smushed in the corners, it's got a good inch before it even touches the comic.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. Most of the packages I get from a Gemini mailer, they're done nice, safe, secure, but anything that's done in like the cardboard mailer, like the flimsy cardboard, like it gets bent up, it gets damaged. It's easy to penetrate that. Like, I've had a corner like bust through one, and it's like dented the comic because it busted right through. So yeah, no, that is awesome. You're gonna also offer U.S. and international shipping to most countries. They're not liable for additional customs fees. All shipping comes with tracking once it's left, and it's in the hands of the shipping gods. So that is awesome. Do you get a lot of international people?
Yes and no. I had 101 backers my last issue, and we hit 5K, which was really exciting. So I'm almost halfway there now. And I had 1 to Australia, and I had 4 to Canada. So like 5% international. This is the first time that I've offered the comic as a digital form. And so, just shipping internationally is ridiculous. To Canada, it's not as bad. It's like $15 to $25 depending on how many, books that they get. But shipping to Australia, even for one comic, starts at $45 and up. And that's just for the shipping. That's not if they add a second comic, they add a pin, they add a bookmark. And so that just like hurt my heart. And I mean, I am so grateful for my friend who lived in Australia. It was one of my Twitch followers who backed my campaign. But I was like, when I went to go price out the shipping, my heart just sunk.
So
because when you ship really cool in the States, it's from $4 to $6 to ship.
No, that's really cool that you added that digital just to kind of help people cushion that blow, and that's really cool. Do you see a lot of backing from Twitch? Like, how's that go for you? Is that something that kind of helped a lot?
It's hit and miss. I will say, like, I have a good, couple of people from Twitch that are just, big supporters, and whether they buy the comic or just send $5 like a subscription. Or just share the post, which doesn't cost anything. A lot of my Twitch followers will retweet it because they're like, nah, it's not my thing, but I never know if somebody else will like what you're doing. and I want to support you. So I will say the majority of my backers come from a little bit of everywhere. Like some are on social media, some are friends of friends, some are people that started with issue 1 and have just stayed on the journey since then. People I found on podcasts, and people that have just found me through Kickstarter.
Isn't it crazy, just like how social media works too? Even like a backing from a Twitch follower might not, it would be nice, but like them retweeting could have, essentially get you
Sent
2 backers.
To 10 people.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 backers or 10 backers. Like, you never know what impact you can have on something that doesn't even cost you any money. That's why on Twitter, I am really big about supporting indie comics. I'm always retweeting people's campaigns, retweeting people's work in progresses, sharing, commenting. Because without it, like, even, I have X number of people on Twitter, and probably 20 people see my posts, which is like 2%.
Yeah.
But the more people that like it, then it's going to show it to more people that follow me. And so, we're all facing the algorithm beast.
Yeah.
And if I can spend 60 seconds and go through and like a few friends' posts and help them out, the better for it.
Absolutely. So before we dive into, or real quick, let's do why Kickstarter, and then what we'll do is go into your tiers, and then we'll go into the add-ons, so it'll kind of like work into one another. So why did you choose Kickstarter?
So I chose Kickstarter as a platform. I don't want to say like everybody was doing it, but the initial cost to make the pin and print the comic, and I was adding it up, and I was like, oh, I don't have the money to do the initial print run. And so I was like, why don't I do a pre-order on Etsy? And then a friend was like, well, why don't you do it on Kickstarter, because it'll actually put you in the comic category so people can find you who are looking to back an indie comic. And so that's kind of what started my journey into Kickstarter. It was a really easy platform to kind of branch into, to offer the add-ons and the comic and different options. And since it worked so well with issue 1, I've just continued using it as a way to pre-order and get that initial print run, that initial pin creation.
So I mean, you essentially built a community on Kickstarter too. Like a lot of the backers like will transition from one campaign to another, and it works into one another so nicely. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of your tiers, and then we'll look at the stretch goals and the add-ons as well. So right here you can get the digital copy of the PDF for $6. You're going to get a standard cover for $10. For $12 you'll get a blank sketch cover. And then if I'm missing anything, feel free to just interrupt. So
no, you're fine. And I have a lot of tiers to choose from, because I have so many variant covers.
And that's what I was gonna say. A lot of these variant covers are starting out at the $20 pledge, so you can get. I think it's almost all of them, right?
Yeah, all of them are available for $20, and then the metallics are available for the $30.
For the $30. Do you happen to have a metallic on hand, or that hasn't been printed yet? That's a dumb question.
Ooh,
wait, no, you do. Okay.
I don't have a metallic of issue 4, but I have a metallic of issue 1.
Okay,
so
that's gorgeous.
On a special, this one was done on a special holofoil, a magma holofoil, so it just real shines. And then there's an option in there. Let's see, which one's this one? I think it's 35. To have it gemmed with real crystals.
Oh, that is so cool. Do you do that by hand?
I don't. I actually send it out to a jeweler who does it. And it comes with a certificate of authenticity. And so each of them, it's printed on metallic foils. This is one of our metallic foils too. And then it has actual gems like adhered to the front. So it's just a different bonus collectible factor that just makes it stand out a little bit different.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only comic I've ever seen that was gemmed. That's pretty cool. What was what drew you to do that? That's really cool.
A friend of a friend did it on their comic, and I was like, that's so magical. I literally have a magical comic. I need this for my comic.
So for $20 you can get the digital PDF issues 1 through 4.
Yes.
Awesome catch-up tier too. That's a good price.
I wanted to this is my passion project, and I won't lie, each comic goes towards paying off the student loans, which we all seem to never get to pay off ever. So, one comic at a time, right? But I also wanted it to be affordable. That way, if anybody wanted to either support, but they don't collect physical comics, or if they just wanted to support, there's lots of different options available, no matter what your budget is, whether you're picking up the $6 issue 4 or you're picking up the $300 collector's edition.
So for $25, this is when we start getting into the metallic covers. You can get the cover done by you for $25.
Yes.
$5 more. You're gonna get all the variants. So any variant that you wanted, you'll be able to get it in the metallic cover. And then we are looking at. So for $6 more, you can get it the jeweled metallic edition. So that's that. Yeah, $6 more. That's not too bad of a price.
No, I wanted to make it. Basically, I wanted to make it like it's a cool perk.
Oh yeah, that is really cool. $40 or more, you get the Wolf and I issues 1 through 4 standard stock. So do you get issue 4 is going to get you the cover done by you, correct?
Yeah. So
okay.
all of the bundles will be the base cover that was done by me.
And then pledge 135 or more, you're gonna get the Mermaid Trove. So
yes.
what's in the Mermaid Trove?
The Mermaid Trove is going to be every cover that's got a mermaid on it, and it's also going to come with our mermaid pin. And then
they're also going to be foiled too, so these are also going to be metallic foils.
Yeah, anything that's in the Mermaid Trove or the Dragon Horde Collector's Edition, anything from here on out is going to be your collector metallic versions.
So the Dragon Horde, all the shinies. So this is going to be the metallic foil. Is this going to be all of them?
Yes, every variant cover, including my cover in metallic foil.
And then is this so the stretch goal packages? Those are included with
any physical copy.
Any physical copy.
Yeah, any physical edition is going to get the stretch goal package. And so our first stretch goal is going to be at $2,500, which will be $500 more than our funding goal. And we've got stickers, bookmarks, prints, maps, lots of different options with our stretch goals.
We have Solid Halon. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Over on YouTube, stopping in and say hi as well. So $350, the Ultimate Collector's Package. So you're gonna get this is where you get the T-shirt as well. So you guys have a T-shirt?
We do have a T-shirt, and it's further on after our stretch goals under the add-ons. So you can add on the T-shirt with any physical tier, or it comes with the collector's edition. Is
there a way to get the previous issues at least digitally? Absolutely, Solid. So if I'll scroll up, you can actually there is a pretty good price for the catch-up tier. Is going to be right here. Hold on, right here. Yeah. So $20 you can get digital PDF issues 1 through 4. But I think you can get issue 4 for $6. So here.
Yes, just issue 4. And then if you pick up a physical copy, so like if you wanted a variant cover of issue 4, I do have issues 1 through 3 like as a digital that you can add on.
So right there is the link for anyone that's interested. It just popped up. So feel free to check this out with us. And if you back during this, let us know. Be sure to throw that out in chat. So let's go ahead. I think we had one more to check out. Right here, the retailer. Just seen it. Yep.
Oh, yes. So this is for any comic shop who wants to get retail copies for their shop. They can provide their own cover or choose any of the covers that we have available, and I can throw their store logo on it if they'd want, as a store exclusive.
And that's $50. That is such an awesome price too. So yeah, let's. You also had some of these, the early bird standard covers. That was a fantastic price too.
Yeah, I wanted those who had been backing the Kickstarter, who had followed it before we launched, to have a discount if they were going to jump in on it.
So right here is the Wolf and I stretch goals. So at $2,500, you got a 3x3 mermaid sticker. At $4,000, a bookmark. $5,500, a wolf sticker. And $6,500, a wolf character card. And then a map. So at $8,000, you have a 5x7 Kraywith map. So what is this going to be like on a special paper or fabric? Like what type of map is this going to be?
So it's going to be a 5x7 print of the Kraywith map. So it's going to be the land of Kraywith as like a collectible print, and then if this is going big because we've never hit more than 5,000.
Yeah,
so I mean, if we get here, I will be like over the moon. And then if we hit 12,000, everybody is gonna not only get a map, but I'm gonna make it, instead of 5x7, make it comic book size.
Oh, that is
and
cool.
make it metallic.
Hell yeah. So Wolf and I add-ons, the 1.75 inch mermaid pins, for $10. That's a good price. Green or purple.
Yeah, so I have 2 mermaid pins available, and then I also have our pins from our older campaigns, which were visible further up in the campaign, near the variant covers. That is our Meowl, our wolf, and then the moon logo as well too.
And you said that was up higher?
Yeah, it was before all the variant covers.
So let me go ahead.
Oop, down. And that it's right in that like collection of multiple. It's right in that middle.
Oh, right here, right here. I see it.
Smaller.
No, that is really cool. That is really cool. All right, so let's scroll back down. All right, and then right here is the T-shirt with the logo design that you were talking about for $22.
Yep. And these are all hand screen printed too on really, really soft Bella canvas T-shirts, and then hand screen printed with gold screen printing ink.
Ooh, we have Solid saying they just found the tier for 4 issues and done. Thumbs up. So thank you so much, Solid. Thank you. That's awesome. Congratulations too. I always love when a backing happens live on stream.
No, it's exciting. And now we're only $80 away from hitting our goal of funding, which is super exciting.
Oh yeah, we are getting closer and closer. We're
so close.
So
that's like only 4 people who catch up.
Yeah. Issues 1 through 4, 3 separate comics. You can get the standard for $28 or the metallic for $45. Still an awesome price too for 3 issues for $45 for the metallic covers. And then 5-piece die cut sticker pack for $6, and then the previous issues all right here too.
Oh, there's the bigger picture. Perfect.
Yeah, this is awesome too. I like how it kind of looks like glittery.
It is. It is. So the Meowl has glitter in it, and the 2 mermaids have glittery tails. The wolf and the moon are not glittery, although the moon is metallic, and it's got a special like etched metallic look to it.
No, that is so cool. So here is a little bit of who I am. So do you want to give us a little bit of a breakdown?
Yeah, so I'm Krista Crawford. I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner by trade, and so I take care of kids. I've spent 7.5 years between the pediatric ICU and the neonatal ICU, and now I'm working in pediatric primary care. And then by passion, I'm an artist. In my journey of, finding out who I am and helping kids get through their things, these characters have come to life in my head, and that is where Wolf and I was born from. So I hope to continue telling this story and continue helping kids every single day.
So I've bagged, so now what? The book is nearly finished and ready to print, about 90% fully complete, in fact. The campaign is set to run for 30 days, and the book and orders for stretch goals are expected to be sent to the printer in this summer, and you should start receiving shipping updates in August. So the mermaid pins have already been ordered and shipped together with the other items.
And they're actually here already, which is exciting.
So when we go to, are they nearby to you?
They are not, but that picture that's up there with all of them is like all of them in hand here. I pre-ordered them in advance, that way I would have them in hand.
I was gonna just say, like usually when we go to our big screen, if anyone has stuff to show up, I usually tell them to do it then, but not a big deal. So you could also sign up for the newsletter and receive a free sample of Wolf and I Magic Rising and a discount code to our Etsy store at this link. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste this and put it in the chat as well.
Thank you.
Not a problem. And then until then, updates here on Kickstarter. Follow the author on Instagram and Twitter at right here. I also have those links in the description as well. So feel free, whatever is clever. Be sure to check out to stay up to date. Any idea on issue 5? Issue 5 is that like in the works? Hold on one second.
It is in the works. Issue 5 is in the works. I keep trying to not work on it as much as I am because I'm so excited about it. So the goal for issue 5 beholding monkeypox and the next world apocalypse. Is I'm hoping to launch in late fall, early winter of this year.
Okay.
I already have 2 variant covers back on it, which is crazy. And with issue 5, it's going to be an all-female variant arc. So all the variant covers will be done by female artists, which is really exciting too. Just a unique perspective, because I find a lot in the industry are male variant cover artists or male artists, and there are a lot of females, but there's not as, like, the ratios aren't the same. And so it's really exciting to be able to put that, like, whole group together.
No, that is so cool. So real quick though, before we dive into anything else, for anyone that has watched us, listened to us break down the Kickstarter, but they're on the fence about backing, what would you like to say to them directly to kind of help push them over that hump?
Yeah, so Wolf and I is for anybody who loves fantasy. It is rated PG-13 and up because there is some violence, but the characters are going to draw you in, and it's going to make you, leaving you on the edge for the next issue. You're going to want to travel with these characters through the land of Krysta, and you're going to be cheering them on as they face dilemmas, as they're fighting battles, and then you're going to be gasping in horror as they're making these decisions and hoping they choose the right path.
That is so awesome. We have Heather joining us over from YouTube as well, stopping in to say hi. Hello, Heather. How are you doing? Welcome to tonight's stream. So real quick, before we wrap things up, I do want to ask you one last question, because as much as I love you having the ability to sell your book and break it down for us, I do really acknowledge the fact that a lot of people watch this as kind of like a tool. They learn some things along the way, and since you've had so many successful Kickstarters, what would you say would be some of your biggest advice for someone looking to start a Kickstarter for the first time?
Be honest, not just with your audience, but with yourself. If you're not ready to launch, don't launch. And if you launch and you find things aren't going the way that you anticipate them, post regularly. Keep up to date with people, post on social media, reach out to other creators, cross promote. That was the biggest thing about issue 1 that I learned in previous issues is people just want to know what's going on, and they want to help people's dreams come true, but you got to let them know what's going on.
Yes, that is awesome, and updating, I think, is a big part of it that a lot of people don't take advantage of, and a lot of good can happen from it. We have a Mage Universe on YouTube as well. Excited to watch this one. Haven't read the series, but I'll check it out right there. I just posted the link for you to check it out. Everybody who's interested, be sure to stop in, check that link out. If you're not able to back, just spread the word. Even if you can just share it on Facebook or Twitter, you might have a friend who might be interested in backing. With that being said, it is time for us to wrap up. Krista, thank you so much for coming on. Break it down, Wolf and I.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited.
Do you want me to give you my blockbuster pitch before we close?
Yes. Hit us with it. Hit us with us.
You briefly did the shorter version, but this is our blockbuster pitch. If this was going to be a spring blockbuster film, this would be the music behind it. As darkness pours in, you see a wolf in the background. You see a girl running from the forest. In a land slowly overtaken by darkness, eyes peer into every nightmare. Tread carefully, take heed, and beware, for creatures crawl throughout the night. Secrets of history shall come to light. Internal powers before unknown. Choices are made, worlds are shown. 2 heroines are faced with a choice to band with friends and unite their voice. Against this evil they must stand, for the fate of Krysta lays in their hands.
That was so good. I gotta give you props on that. That was if we don't get another backing out of that, I'll be sad. So with that being said, guys, we do have to be wrapping it up. It is a fantastic Sunday night. I cannot wait to check everyone out on Monday. It's going to be a fresh new start to the week, and hopefully we see you closer to getting this campaign funded. Yeah, so with that being said, guys, we are going to be wrapping up. Thank you once again for stopping by, breaking this down. Everybody in the chat, have an awesome night, but most importantly, keep it geekly.